Okay, so anyway, I'm just restarting this video because I messed up the last one. And I was saying that there's a bull dyke couple, but I called them a company instead. A lesbian bull dyke couple. Gangstalkers down the street. They're really overt, they're really brazenly overt with their stalking. They don't make it subtle at all. And one of them is thick and one of them is regular size, but the thick one is jumbo and she has a super deep voice. I thought she was a guy. So I get outside until, I recognized her. So they have this dog named Nero. They're creepy as fuck. They're weird creepy. And so they'll just stand in front of our house staring at me. And so they're walking by and they're making directed conversation. I hadn't even recognized who they were at that point, but I knew that they were gang stalkers. Even though I had literally just gotten outside, I knew that the people walking by the house laughing fakely I knew already they were gang stalkers. I could just tell by how they sounded. And so they walk by and I'm recognizing who they are. And the fat one, she says, who is that painter, Van Gogh? And I've talked about Van Gogh before. I've talked about him in the sense that he was not crazy, but people thought he was crazy because he was very ugly, and so no women had sex with him. And he also painted things like the trees going all the way to the stars, and so people thought he was crazy, and no one liked his paintings. And so his brother paid someone to buy one of his paintings, and Van Gogh was really upset, and he asked the guy, what painting do you want to buy? And the guy said, I don't even care, just give me anything. And that tipped Van Gogh off that it was his brother who was the one who took care of him. His brother would give him money for food, and Van Gogh would just eat every other day, and he would use the money he saved from not eating for painting. And he knew right away then that his brother had paid someone to give him some kind of consolation, to feel like his work was valuable, because no one cared about his work. They just thought it was nuts. And then his brother sent a prostitute to his house to pretend like she had a crush on him and wanted to have sex with him. And he was kind of suspicious that his brother had sent her. So he said, why do you even like me to begin with? And she couldn't think of anything. So she said, your ears. And he said, okay. And he knew that his brother had sent her, so he went and cut his ears off and he gave her his ears. And then he was put in a mental ward where he had all the painting supplies he wanted. I'm just checking to make sure Todd is okay. He's on the harness right now and he tries to escape off of it. And if you ever hear me call Todd Richard, Richard is his street name. And so anyways, Van Gogh is in the mental institution for a year and he's painting his best work. He's wanted to paint the sun. That's been his life's goal, is to paint the sun like no one has ever painted it before. And I have talked about that particular painting too. And so the gang stalkers walk by and they say, what's that painting by Van Gogh? And finally they can't rehabilitate Van Gogh because he's not actually insane. He's just ahead of his time, really. And so he gets out of the mental hospital because they have to buy all his canvases, his painting supplies, and they're not making any difference to him anyway. They're not rehabilitating him to a normal state. And so he gets out and he's happy with his life. He's painted the sun the way he wants to. Absolutely nobody appreciates him. Nobody except for his brother. But his brother doesn't even understand him. He was upset that his brother would even get someone to buy a painting from him. Like, he didn't want to be placated like that. So no one understands him. No one appreciates him. And he's done his life's work to paint the sun. So he kills himself finally. And yesterday when I was biking home from the store, I was talking about how, and just let me pause. Do you like the long distance vlogging here with the microphone that's wireless? Isn't that so cool? But I was biking home because I thought someone had stolen my seat post cover, which they hadn't. And I was talking about how, had I not been doing my goals, I would have been in a very adrenally fatigued mindset, and I would have actually had thoughts like, yeah, I should probably just kill myself because everything sucks. And it's not even necessarily low self-esteem. It's just that high self-esteem doesn't even matter, if that makes sense. I mean, to say, No matter how good of a person I am, no matter how much progress I make, this would have been my negative voice had I not been taking care of my adrenals and my whole body. No matter how awesome I am, no matter how much progress I make, it doesn't mean anything because the people who are human trafficking me are the only ones around me, anyways. And so there's no reciprocity. Like, normally, reciprocity is what keeps you a golden rule following person. Like, the golden rule is treat other people how you want to be treated. And so you treat people good and they treat you back. So that's your motivation to keep being an awesome person, because the more awesome you are, the more awesome people are going to be around you. And so when you're being gang stalked, it doesn't even matter anyway, because everyone around you is mean and terrible and treacherous and a bull dyke and just terrible. And so what does it even matter to make progress in your life? Because the people human trafficking you are fucking gross anyway. You don't even, even if they're hot, you don't even want to be with them. Like, they're skin deep beauty at most. And so it's like I was saying, had I not been taking care of myself, I would have had a lot of negative thoughts like that. Like, I should just fucking kill myself. And so now that's why the gang stalkers walked by with this Van Gogh comment, like, you should kill yourself just like Van Gogh. We're receivers and we're transmitters. Like, I'm on all these different channels, and there's certain vibes that a black queen can give me that a white girl can't give me. And there's certain vibes that a white girl can give me that a black queen can't give me. So I'm getting some of my nutrients from each of them. And then the other one, she's kind of like, she looks like an olive kind of tan. She looks a bit ethnic. I'm not sure what ethnicity she has, but it's not really about ethnicity. It's more about culture, as Denzel says. And she gives me something too. She gives me like a very positive vibe. She's just very bubbly, very friendly. And then there's the ones on Quora. There's a couple on Quora, and one of them's married. I'm not so sure how she would deal with that. But I really love her, and she's like 53, but nothing, I was gonna say, but she's still hot, and she always will be, but I don't even need to say that because it's so obvious. But I don't sign on Quora anymore because that one guy just he gave me bad vibes about Quora, and so I don't know what to do. And then there's another one who I've never seen on Quora, but I just kind of assume, don't quite know, but she's always saying stuff to me. And I miss her, but I figure if she really wants to talk to me, she can find me on YouTube. So, still going strong. Okay, so hello again. You'll notice that in my previous video, I called the neighbors Nazis when they were outside so they would hear it. And that was actually a regretful thing to do. Not because they're not Nazis, but because it was just pointless to say, hey, fuck you. A car just went by with their horn to say fuck you. And I was doing some yard work one time, and this woman walks by with her kid. And when she sees me, she jumps. And she says to her kid, what do you do if you see a predator? And her kid is like just confused. Her kid's like 5. And she's like, when you see a predator, you get as loud as you can and you scream and you call for help. And the kid looks at me like clearly I'm the one she's talking about. And so today when I was walking outside to get my fucking laundry, she walks by with her husband. And she's white and her kid's black. And her kid's like half black and her husband's black. I saw her husband for the first time today, and she waves hello, and I'm not even realizing consciously it's that same woman. And so then I'm kind of in a bad mood. And then so the neighbor goes out. So this would be, I think, I think this guy's a gang stalker. I'm not sure, but whoever was driving this white Subaru right here, they were just kind of hanging out in front of our house. This would probably be a gang stalker right here. He has the muffler for it. They just kind of pull up in front of our house. They're just always there. So anyway, I was kind of triggered by that because I felt that was really hurtful and just kind of really sick that she would involve her child in that, like in her smear campaign. And so, and then today she just waves like we're friends, you know? And I was thinking, wow, she's really trashy. Like I can see how ugly she is. Like I see her husband, he's a dweeb. Like they're just total losers, and it's not worth it to go down to their level and and call them names. So anyway, as part of the creativity part of the vlog, we're gonna do a song called Blackout Days by Phantogram. So yeah, I do regret calling the neighbors Nazis. That made me feel not good. So it's not cool to do that. Oh, god damn it. Fucking battery just died. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I got my other tablet, which has no rubber case, so it's kind of hard to balance it. So hopefully I can get this. Hide the sun. I will leave your face out of my mind. You should save your eye. Oh, wait. We gotta do take two. Hide the sun. I will leave your face out of my mind. You should save your eyes. 1,000 voices howling in my head. Speaking. I'm gonna try to breathe really heavily into the microphone so you know how difficult this is. Oh my god, that's really hard. I've only done 12 so far. Whew, okay. Whoa! Holy shit. Oh my god. Okay, it was easier yesterday. And either yesterday or the day before yesterday, I drank 2 liters of juice. And I made it super concentrated. 2 cans. And I think that put a lot of glycogen in my muscles. Made it easier to work out the next day. So I think that's why I struggled more today. I haven't drank any water today. It's already like 4:30 p.m. That's really bad. I've lost count here, but squats are so easy. I could do a couple extra. Okay, so now we're gonna do some cocksucking sit-ups. Then I'm going to go in and drink some water. And not drinking any water today. That's not something I normally do. But it's because I was struggling with motivation. And so I think it was psychological. Success barrier. This is actually really hard. Oh, God damn. Oh, cool little bug. Humanity is better off getting nuked the way it is. But that doesn't include us, so we don't have to worry. They can't get to us. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to erase us. But it's not our bodies. They don't understand that, though. They only see the body. They don't see anything else. They're materialist absolutists. Anything that can't be measured, they deny its existence. So consciousness, of course, can't be measured. So they deny its existence. And they fear it, they repress it, they hate it. And so it is conscious. They try to kill them by killing their body. But you can't kill someone's consciousness because that's never born. That's not part of the body. Well, it's a simple arithmetic. It's one of the 3 basic R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. What's never born can never die. It's eternal. That's what they're trying to kill. That's why they come up with these myths about God. It's a projection of their ego. Because their ego has a beginning and an end. And it's the substitute for their consciousness. And so they say, at first God created the earth. It has to be created. They can't just say that the earth was here forever. And by implication, they're saying then that God had to be created as well, in an infinite deferral. Because then you'd ask, well, who created God? And they'd say, well, it was God B created God A. Who created God B? God C created God B. It goes on and on. But the idea of eternity, the existential reality of eternity, they deny that. They hate that. They're purpose-driven. Only a machine has a purpose. What makes us free is that we don't have any purpose. If we had a purpose, we would be slaves, because we would have to live into something. There would be no spontaneity. There would be no choice.